forum conversation. The main speaker is General Miguna. I know Dr. William Tunga will be joining on the way, and plus other guests that are coming in. Migaya Ketch, good evening. How are you doing? Guys, it seems that your mic is not working well. Okay. Let me go to Clinton Ocheng.
Good evening. I can hear you,
All right.
Hillary.
How are you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy to see you.
And me
All
too.
right. Yes. Can you open for us the forum today as you wait other speakers to come in?
No, just really excited about what is going on. I think these are really exciting times for this country. It is revolutionary, and we have an opportunity to change how we govern ourselves forever. We must not lose this chance. So I'm really excited about what's going on, and mine is just to encourage everyone to keep at it. The pressure will finally tell, and it is telling. It's just a matter of time. And there's a lot of scaremongering that is going on, but I think these people. That is the only way that they know how to react. There is this fear of what will happen if Ruto goes. If Ruto goes, the country we have a beautiful constitution. If Ruto goes, the country will continue, and I think the country will be in a better place. So let us not be afraid. There's a lot of talk about, there'll be chaos. It will be like what happened in Egypt. That is not true. So let us not be afraid at all. We will be able to chart a future. Can you all think that this Ruto government will ever change? It will never change. I mean, look at the speech that the president was making today. It will never change. So for me, we have to keep going. Just so my message is to encourage everyone that we must keep going, but we cannot go on like this. We need a country that gives an opportunity to every single one of us, irrespective of where we come from. And speaking as an academic, that is what I have done in my life for 25 years. That is what I've been teaching about, writing about. Some of you may have, on April 26th, I gave my inaugural lecture that was titled Ending the Tyranny of the Barons. And it was about using administrative law, which is the field of law that I specialize in, to ensure that we have better governance in this country. We have an opportunity. Let us not squander it. So, Hillary, that is what I would say.
Thank you so much, Migai, and we appreciate your presence and also your time to come and share with us your thoughts and your mind and what you think about what is happening and even the president's speech today. Thank you so much. I want to welcome my host to run this show for a while. We are here, all of us, but remember, one thing I want to remind you: remember to follow rules. When we give rules, these rules we don't give them for us to keep the space more dictatorial or more strict, but we are doing this because now already I have almost 100 requests. Request for the mic. So you see that one is, it might be not well when we give more people more time, but when you give 3 minutes, 2 minutes, understand us so that we keep our conversation very short and to the point. And also, when somebody says something that you have said, no need of repeating it because it's the same thing. So just be to the point. And when we say that when you finish your conversation, it is good also sometimes to drop yourself so that you can add more people. But share the space, and also and last request that follow each other is very important for us to get along to know each other better as we have all this conversation when we have our spaces so that you can join and join the conversation. Maj and Kings, you can run the show as you wait, Daktari. Let me see where he is, and then we continue.
Thank you so much, Hilary, and thanks everyone for joining. And of course, it's a Sunday evening. It would be time for every one of us to relax, but we are putting in time. Thank you. And so I think we've started the conversation, and the first speaker has already spoken, but I want to give him, I want to, because I saw some discussion going on where he was directly involved. So I want him to chime in with that as we proceed. So this question is directed to Professor Migai Akech. I saw you engaging in, there was some communication from, let me call him diplomat. I never care for these titles. That was actually went ahead to write to the Ford Foundation to ask for something there. So, for clarification of who they're funding in the budget and everything. What feeling do you have when you see the government trying to have to have such actions? What does that mean? I mean, what's your opinion about that? Over to you as we proceed.
Thank you very much. It seems to me that the government is looking for scapegoats and bogeymen and refusing to understand or just to accept what is going on. There's no unfunding these protests. These protests are very organic, and I've really been impressed by what the Gen Z have been doing, particularly in terms of civic education. So there was this, for example, on the finance bill. So somebody decided, and as an expert on finance, decided to help the country understand the bill. And then he said, why don't we translate this into vernacular languages? And so it was translated. I mean, they did a script. That script in English was then translated into 18 languages. No one was paid to do it. It was all very people just coming up and say, look, I want to educate the public on what is going on. And that is very difficult for a government, a dishonest government such as this, to deal with. And so when I saw the post, because Korir Singwe is somebody that I know, and you'd expect intellectuals to be honest. I don't know what is it that happens to people when they get to government. I don't get it. What happens to people when they get proximity to power? Because they lose all sense. They stop thinking, they stop reasoning. So I was asking myself, what is this person doing? And Korir himself was a beneficiary of the Ford Foundation. The first lady's, Rachel Ruto's own organization was funded by the Ford Foundation, doing the very same kind of activities that these organizations that they have an issue with are doing. So this, for me, it's just a lot of dishonesty, and I was just calling him out on it, and I was just telling them that please, just be honest and accept that you've lost legitimacy and citizens. And actually, I think it is also very insulting for the government to be looking for these bogeymen. It is very insulting because citizens see what is wrong. We all see what is wrong. And we are giving our time, we are giving our expertise, we are giving our resources to this cause. Why do we need the Ford Foundation to be telling us or to fund the kind of civic education that we're seeing on spaces such as TikTok? So I think it's a lot of dishonesty, but we've seen these tactics before. We've seen these tactics with Moi, except, and I was tweeting about it today, these are very analog tactics of dealing with the digital revolution. A president who is out of touch, clearly out of touch with what is going on. And I don't think that the people around him are telling him the truth. And it will not help him. Certainly, it will not help him. So that is the context in which I decided to respond to Korir, who is somebody that I know, who is somebody that was a year behind me in law school. And I always thought, I mean, this is a good chap. He's intelligent. But I'm asking myself, what is it that happens to these people?
Thank you. Yeah, thank
when
you
they
so
get to
much
power?
for giving that feedback. Actually, on a larger scale, it spreads fear to the entire population, especially those who cannot tell apart that those are actually, it's a hogwash to write to such a foundation and demand for answers. So, like, you know him personally, please tell him to stop scaring the population, because that is not a thing that one should do. Because in the village, when somebody just tells and says, the government, the government wrote to these people, the grandmother in the village is going to be scared. So they should stop scaring people. Thanks so much. I see that our main guest, Daktari, is on. Daktari, please test the mic as we proceed.
Testing. Marge, everybody is a main guest.
Okay, yes, thanks. Thanks for the
I'm just here to contribute, okay. and I like what Professor Migaya Kech, whom I know, has said. I want to add something, Marge, on what he has said. Professor Migaya Kech is 100% correct, but I think he may have inadvertently left out something that is also true. People like Sing'oei have gained financially, personally, from the government, from the rot. I know him also, and I know for a fact that by the time he was appointed PS, he was living in an apartment on Thika Road. And within 2 months, he had bought a luxurious property in Karen worth 100 million Kenya shillings in cash. And I know many other properties that he has bought. So he thinks this is a threat, direct threat to him personally. And this is what is unfortunate. So I think that, unfortunately, intelligence does not help. And that is why this struggle is more about integrity than intellectual intelligence. A lot of intelligent people in Kenya have turned out to be some of the most corrupt. And they use their intelligence to conceal their corruption, and to the detriment of the population. That's all I wanted to say. I dropped the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's proceed in this order. And Hilary, do you want to say something before we proceed?
No, I'm okay. I was checking that other speakers are coming in. I'm okay. Go ahead.
Okay, let's proceed in the order of Dr. Milton, Simon, Ask, Blues, and Engineer, and it's 2 minutes each. So after 1 minute, you look at my profile, I'll be raising my hand, and then you have a minute to complete your presentation. So kindly do prepare in a way that you can present your points in 2 minutes. I know it's a very limited time, but please, let's try so that many others can speak. So Dr. Milton, over to you.
Wait, guys, do you see like a strawberry? Thank you, Marge, and thank you, Hilary. I want to salute all the other panelists and the speakers, and indeed everybody that has joined this space here tonight. And as always, we pay tribute to the fallen heroes of this struggle. Their hearts and their souls, they didn't lose their life in vain, and we will continue remembering them. And on the same note, I want to salute the patriots in the DMV area of the United States that did march and presented our petitions as the Kenyan people to the IMF. I think their message was loud and clear, and we want to also salute the media houses and everybody that has ensured that that message is transmitted as loudly and as clearly as it has. Having said that, I want to also address myself to what has transpired the last few days and what Zakayo has purported to speak today. Issuing threats. He is back to his old skin, his old self, the dictator that he is, the man that is a threat to the democracy of the Kenyan people. And I want to remind everybody that the William Ruto that was speaking today in Bomet is the William Ruto that addressed the nation the first time. I think that was on 26th of last month when he called patriots reclaiming, attempting, exercising their right to reclaim their country, calling them criminals and suggesting that there was anything treasonous about the people coming out. That is the William Ruto that we are seeing. He is now cornered, and he thinks that by issuing threats, he is going to intimidate the people. The Gen Zs, the millennials, and similarly situated Kenyans want to be resoundingly clear that William Ruto, when you tell us that we come out and tell you what we want, you are being exactly what you are. Turn deaf to our demands. Don't pretend that you are not hearing. We are simply saying that you must vacate, you must dissolve that government and go home so that the Kenyan people can exercise the power how they want. And now I want to go to the points that I wanted to make. Number one, if you read the preamble of the Constitution, it talks about what the Kenyan people adopted, enacted, and gave themselves as the supreme legal framework that governs how they operate. Now, I want to remind everybody about why William Ruto, why we are calling for Zakayo to go. Ruto must go is premised on 3 points. Number one, the supremacy of the people. Number two, Ruto is being ejected by the people because he has violated the social contract with the people. And I want, if you allow me, will agree with me that if you look at Articles Chapter 6 of the Constitution, William Ruto has violated every single provision in Chapter 6. And that is why the Kenyan people are saying he must go. The Kenyan people are not saying that William Ruto has an opportunity to reconstitute government. He has violated the social contract. He has violated the deed of contract the Kenyan people gave him on the ballot in 2022. And I want us to be very categorical. What does Chapter 6 provide? Article 75 of the Constitution speaks to the character of a leader. And I want to just make reference to that very quickly so that we have clarity, so that whenever these people are coming out to tell you that they care more about Kenya than we do, those of us calling for Ruto to go, this is exactly what we are saying. Chapter 75 of the Constitution defines the conduct of state officers, and and I can quickly refer to that a state officer shall behave, underline, shall behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interest and public or official duties. William Ruto is conflicted from Nairobi to the farthest world. Compromising any public or official interest in favor of a personal interest. Is William Ruto guilty of that? The answer is a resounding yes. Number 3, that is Article 75 1C, demeaning the office the officer holds. Has William Ruto demeaned the office of the presidency? The answer is again in the affirmative. So what does Article 75 provide? That a person who contravenes Clause 1 shall be subject to the applicable disciplinary procedure for the relevant office. William Ruto has violated that. But I want to go further to Article 76 and again remind us of the financial probity of state officers. William Ruto has violated that. He is running commercial enterprises that are beneficiaries of state tenders, which is against the Constitution. William Ruto has confessed to being a beneficiary of activities that are prohibited under Article 77 of the Constitution.
Dr. Nyakun,
He
Nyakun,
actually,
Dr. Milton, kindly
yes,
try to land.
say that again.
Kindly try to land. We're actually giving 2 minutes.
Oh yes, okay. I'm doing that now. I want to say that William Ruto confessed that he was apparently or allegedly given a private jet. Again, the Constitution prohibits receiving of any gifts, and if you do, then those gifts are on behalf of the Kenyan people and they must be declared. When William Ruto tells the country and the world that he was given a private jet by a friend, he has violated that Constitution. William Ruto has been lying with his teeth, looking at Kenyans. How does he now pretend to tell us that he has not demeaned the Constitution? He has not held the office of the presidency in contempt. William Ruto has violated. I want to invite us to read Article 232 of the Constitution on the principles of public service. He has violated every one provision of those under Article 232. William Ruto has failed as a symbol of national unity as required under Article 131 of the Constitution. Good people, there is nothing else William Ruto can tell the Kenyan people, and we must be angered more today that he comes to lecture us, he comes to lecture Kenyan people and speak as though the office of the presidency is a gift, is an inheritance he was given by his parents. This is a privilege that the Kenyan people gave him, and the Kenyan people are now demanding that he relinquishes. Failure to which they have to take it by force. And I want to, in conclusion, tell the Kenyan people that removal of a president is provided for in the constitution. And therefore, anybody telling us that we have to wait for 2027 is living a dream of the past. And they must be reminded and called out. The time has come. You cannot operate as Moi without the constitution that Moi had. You cannot operate as Moi without the information space that the people lacked during the Moi regime. This is a new era, and everybody must wake up and smell the coffee. And the sooner William Ruto realizes that and vacates, the better for everybody. He needs to pick the cue from Emmanuel Macron, who actually called for a snap election when he realized that the rug was being pulled under his feet. This is a time that patriots must come out, and the funding of the revolution is the pain that the Kenyan people have been subjected to under the illegitimate exercise of power by William Ruto and his cartel. I drop the mic and hand over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much, Dr. Milton Nyakundi. And now, guys, I do not want to appear like I'm biased, but we have over 100 people.
By William Ruto and his cartel.
Okay. Please
drop the mic.
Yeah, please mute.
And hand over.
Okay.
Back.
Thank you. So we don't want to appear like we are being biased, but we have over 100 people already requesting. So I want to also request the next speakers to really restrict to 2 minutes each. Simon, you're next. Over to you.
Okay, thank you for the mic. I think I'm audible enough. Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Simon. I'm from Nakuru. So I had a question for Dr. Miguna. Like, is it in order, like, we have more than 40 tribes in Kenya, and we have Kikuyu, who are currently having like 7 top seats at the government, since they are doing this with their chest. They are having their, like, we know the parliament we have, it will, the CSS who are being nominated, they will go through the parliament, since we don't have a parliament here. Is it in order, like, we have those ethnics, like, they are not being heard about their voices? I'm about to tunafaa kuwa, like, it's Kikuyu and Kalenjin and the Luya people. So that's the first question. The other thing I want to tell people, it's on Tuesday. Please, people, let's be there. And one thing I noted, most of us think police are our best friends. They are no longer our friends. And I'm advocating for this. They are no longer our friends. They are beating us. They are killing us. I think from next week, we are not going to be friends. We also have weapons. We can do to them what they are doing to us. I'm not happy seeing like my people of my age being killed by the police. Like what happened last week in Nakuru, it's something like still in my mind, and I'm feeling like I'm just fed up with this government. Those police have orders from above. That boy who was killed there, he was not in the demos, but he was killed. He was just carrying like a paper bag from the supermarket. He was going home. People, police are not our friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon Gathoni, for really keeping it within time, and our condolences. And really, it's unfortunate. Police brutality has always been a problem in Kenya and keeps taking away lives. Daktari is noting the questions, and then I think after 3 to 4 speakers, he will chime in, or if he wants to chime in between, he's free to chime in. I see Ask You dropped, so let's go by Blues. Blues, 2 minutes each. A Bluesman committee. Okay, he's not speaking.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'd like to start by saying that urging the revolutionaries to take note of the fact that the government is doing all it can to infiltrate the demonstrations. So to be at least keen, every step we make, we try to be as effective as possible, because we see so many times it becomes boring due to infiltration. And then next, I've had so many people asking about that the movement no longer has agendas due to like the rejection of the bill. But I urge the influencers to be driving some agendas actively, such as the arrest of the corrupt people, and to try and mention them precisely. Then the to okay we should also bring the agenda of the story of recycling those CSS who are recycled. So we should be bringing them out clearly, loudly, in terms of posters and everything, so that they can be seen as the main agendas that we have. And then also the justice for the fallen soldiers also should be a key agenda, which is being shown through posters and posts every day, so that we are not mocked like we don't have any agendas as per now. And then this story of that we are leaderless, and also like those who are doubting whether being leaderless can work. I think the main reason for being leaderless is not to have anyone calling off the demonstrations so that they go for negotiation. So again, I'd like to encourage activists to prepare some memoranda, and also so that they can like to prepare some memoranda and present to the president, so that like we can be seen, at least we are approaching for dialogue, but not anyone calling off the demos. I hope I'm clear a bit. And then something else. I've noticed that